Okay, so really quickly, I just want to do a quick power clap for Cup Bop and how awesome that was, and everybody who put it together. So 1, 2, 3. Awesome, thanks guys. So we're going to have and introduce Kameron Gonzalez. First of all, I hope everybody put their tickets in, because this is the legit last straw. So if they're not in there, suckers. I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Kameron Gonzalez. I'll just read his bio since I don't want to mess up. So, Kameron Gonzalez is a senior at UVU working towards a BA in political science. He came to UVU and became a part of the ever-growing exciting atmosphere. After serving a 2-year proselyting mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in North Carolina, he returned to UVU and has since been involved in several student leadership opportunities, including Student Association as Chief Justice, Presidential Cabinet Intern for President Matthew Holland, Center for Advancement of Leadership, Wolverine Ambassador, Kristen Durham Pre-Law Club, okay, Spain Study Abroad, Orem Institute of Religion Student Council, and Golden Key International Honor Society. Kameron has represented UVU at the Utah State Capitol at pre-law conferences in the southwestern United States and in Washington, D.C. As an intern to Congressman Rob Bishop, he aspires to have a fulfilling career in policy, law, and consulting, and maybe take his daily singing performances from the shower to the big stage. So hopefully we get a demonstration of that, and just like to bring him up with a power clap. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Kameron. Appreciate that. Before we go anywhere else, let's give a round of applause to the SLAM conference. Holy cow. What an amazing event, seriously. We have honestly had some wonderful instruction today from some wonderful presenters, and so I hope that everyone's been taking scrupulous notes, if that's a word, if that's even a word, and we'll be planning on applying them into your life and into the respective organizations that you serve. And I'm honored to be here today. I'm excited to be here. I haven't given a presentation like this before, and so I'm a little nervous. I've used the facilities like 10 times today already, so if you see me bolting for the door, you know what's going on. That was funnier in my head. But I think for me, the keynote speaker of any type of forum is very important because it's their task of pulling everything together and kind of putting that final exclamation point on the end. And so I hope, I really have been thinking about this a lot and hope that whatever you find in this presentation is helpful for you. But really I hope that instead of maybe taking something that I've said, that you start a dialogue with yourself right now, asking yourself, what can I do next? And that really is what I want you to ask yourself. So what? So what now? We've gone to these different presentations talking about using social media, talking about performing service throughout the world. We've talked about empowerment and culture. Some of you went to that. We heard Kameron and Zach Deering's story. We've seen a number of presentations. So what? What are you going to do about it? And so that's what I want to talk to you today, is a few different things. How are we going to take leadership from the campus to the big stage? How are you going to grow yourself as a student leader? And then how are you going to grow yourself as a civic leader, a global leader? I guess that's actually pretty big, global. Universal leader. There we go. All right, so I want to specifically talk about a few different things. Number 1, the importance of raising your vision. Number 2, negotiating your course. I'll talk about each of these a little bit more in depth as we go. Number 3, develop your UVU story. And I recognize that we have other people here from different institutions. Just plug in whatever that institution is there. I think it still applies. And then number 4, springboard your future. So again, I'll go into more detail as we go. But number 1, raise your vision. Vision is a buzzword. If you've ever taken a leadership class or you've read a leadership book, vision was mentioned. There's hundreds of books written by dozens of authors and different leadership students and different leaders throughout the last 100 years or 1,000 years even that have talked about vision. We've heard words such as vision, and some people call it purpose, or mission, or motivation. There's been multiple sociological and psychological studies that have talked about each of these things and how motivation plays in that. But then we've also heard terms such as setting your sights or aiming higher, right? In chess, there's the end game. As you approach checkmate, how are you going to seal the deal? How are you going to make sure that your pieces are in position, their pieces are out or out of position so that you can go in for the checkmate? In running, we talk about the finish line, right? You run and you envision that finish line. And even before you run, you envision yourself running toward that finish line, right? And in travel, we talk about reaching your destination. And of course, we hear things about enjoying the journey as well, and that's a part of this. But I specifically want to focus on how we envision this before. Probably one of the best orations on vision is actually this principle by Stephen Covey in his book, 7 Habits for Highly Effective People, where he talks about beginning with the end in mind. It's his second point. He says, be proactive, but before you go anywhere, begin with the end in mind. Have your end goal, your end vision in mind. How do you want yourself represented in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years in advance? Start thinking about that now so that every decision that you make plays into that. And Winston Churchill, and I'm not quite sure exactly the context here, but he has a very interesting kind of theme that he talks about. The quote here is part of a greater quote where he says, "The empires of the future lie in the empires of the mind." I don't know if he was saying that people like Hitler go crazy because they're crazy first and then go crazy outward. I don't know if that's what he's talking about. But I think we can apply this to this, that the empire of your future lies first within the empire of your mind. And then, of course, the lovable guy, Walt Disney, called it dreams, right? You go to any of the Disney theme parks and they talk about, remember your dreams can come true if you have enough money. They don't make sense. Disneyland's expensive. Anyway, but to kind of talk a little bit more about this guy, Walt Disney, I found this quote yesterday actually from one of our VPs, Linda Macon. But he boldly says, all of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. And so envisioning something is obviously not going to get us to where we need to be. There's a lot of work that's involved. But our dreams, according to Disney, are accomplishable if we have the courage to pursue them. And speaking of dreams and speaking of filmmakers, I do want to show this short clip. The video might be a little choppy, but I think the audio will be okay. Let's see if we can get this. So this is from the 2004 film Finding Neverland. Have any of you seen that? Okay. Beautiful film. Johnny Depp, of course, fantastic actor. Accent's a little forced in this movie, but we'll forgive him. And he plays a part of J.M. Barrie, who is a person who wrote Peter Pan. And it's about this family that he was working with and inspired him to write that play, right? And in this particular scene, he's still kind of warming up to the family, and he's teaching this little boy, Peter, about dreams. And so I'll kind of lead into that. As we watch it, listen particularly to the things that Barry says to Peter, and then we'll talk about it afterward. Nope, maybe we won't. Work with me here. Maybe not. All right, well, maybe I'll just explain the scene for you then. So kind of what we have happening here is he's really trying to get them to loosen up a little bit. And he goes to this dog that he has named Porthos, and he says, I'm going to show you the greatest bear show on earth, And he's talking up, and Peter says, it's absurd, it's just a dog, right? And then J.M. Barrie's like, just a dog? Just? And that's kind of this point that he wants to say. He doesn't like, obviously he points out that word just. That's a limiting word, right? And something else he says, it's kind of funny. He starts walking towards Peter, and then he turns around and talks to the dog. He's like, Porthos, don't listen to him, And I'll return to that in just a second. But he's saying, to say that he's just a dog and can't be a bear is like saying to a man that he can't climb that mountain, he's just a man. Or, that's not a diamond, it's just a rock, right? And so the significance of this, I'd say, is that maybe sometimes we get in this mindset of saying, I can't climb that mountain, I'm just a man. Or, I'm just a woman. Let's make that gender, or human, there we go. Make that gender neutral. Or, I'm not a diamond, I'm just a rock, right? Not by show of hands, but how many of you have ever thought that, You've thought about what you want to become, but then you think, I can't do that. I haven't worked hard enough in my life. I don't have good enough grades. I don't this. Thank you for your hands anyway. That's all rhetorical. But I think many of us kind of go through this cycle where we want to do something big, but then we kind of limit ourselves. We think we're just something, right? And then Peter says, okay, whatever. Just say he's a bear. Make the dog a bear. And then Jane Barry says this, with those eyes, my bonny lad, I'm afraid you never see it. So going back to this raising your vision, sometimes what we need is a new set of lenses, right? Now, I'm thinking that some of you are starting to wonder to yourselves, well, Cameron, this is great, this is philosophically sound, I'm feeling this, but here's the problem. Whenever I start thinking about what I want to do, I don't know what I want to do, right? We can show hands on this one. How many of you have been there, right? You don't know what you want to do with the rest of your life, right? So we're kind of just in this darkness where it's like, yeah, I know I want to be successful, I know I want to influence people, I know I want to do good, but man, I just don't know what to do. Well, hopefully, and we ask ourselves these things, where will I be? And hopefully this will shed a little bit of light on this, and hopefully this will help give you a ray of light in some of this darkness. I found this quote just a couple days ago by Brent Hatch Nelson, and I just want to read it for you. So he poses a question, how can you know what you should do with the rest of your life? The answer is, you don't need to know. At this stage of your life, you simply pick something that interests you and allows you to be constructive in your life and serve others. So kind of those two things, constructive, serve others. You move forward with faith. As you continue to move forward, new doors will open, opportunities will present themselves. Just do your best and move forward. Don't sit idly by because you can't see the next 70 years mapped out perfectly before you. Choose something and move forward. So he says multiple times in there, move forward. So even if your vision is that you want to be successful or you want to have a family, whatever ounce of vision you have, move forward. And do so with the belief that you can succeed, right? And so this kind of transitions us into the second point of negotiating your course. Now, you're probably looking at that word negotiate and you're thinking of a really tense, like mergers and acquisition, M&A meeting in New York where you have billionaires on this side and billionaires on that side and they get together in this tense situation and they throw numbers out at each other. They say, no, your company's worth this, your company's worth that, and negotiation, right? It's a little different in this context. And I chose this term over other sailing terms on purpose. So charting your course would kind of go more along with vision, right? You map out, you are where you are right now, you know what your destination wants to be and you map it out, right? And then once you get an open sea, it's easy to navigate your course. It's easy for you to look at the sun and the stars and use your compass, right, and figure out that you've got to go certain degrees. But negotiating your course is just a little bit different. The negotiation comes toward the end when you see the land in sight. But now you're getting into more shallow waters, and there's rocks, there's reefs, there's all kinds of things that stand in your way. The negotiation part includes the obstacles that you need to circumnavigate, right? And so I think that this is more applicable. So we've raised our vision, we've set the sail, we've charted our course, we've navigated to where we need to be, but now we're about to close in, right? Now we're close to the things that we need to accomplish. Let's go back to that quote. When he says, simply pick something that interests you. Don't sit idly by because you can't see the next 70 years mapped out perfectly. Choose something and move forward. We each get to this point in our lives where we see those obstacles, right? And we know that we need to get around them, but it's a little nerve-wracking to get there. But we're so close to the shore, we just got to move forward. And the task of negotiating, again, is very different than navigating because sure, a compass is great. Sure, the sun and the stars or however else you get through the ocean are there. But most importantly is the ability to adapt and to foresee things and to make adjustments, to be able to move quickly and to be able to move people around you to move quickly so that you don't end up damaging anything on the ship. Again, this isn't a negotiation of compromise. It's negotiating so that you don't compromise the safety of your ship, right? And so that's point number 3. But now I want to, let's see, there we go. So now I want to move into a little bit more of the practical side. We've talked about the vision, we've talked about moving forward. Now let's talk about you, and let's talk about your UVU story. If any of you have heard the story of UVU, you know that it's fantastic. that we started as a small community college, and now here we are, the largest university in Utah. And each university, again, to be all-inclusive, has a story where people in the beginning made huge sacrifices so that we can be enjoying and reaping the benefits today, right? So let's talk about you developing your UVU leadership story. The first thing that I have learned at UVU is that everyone has a story, especially here at UVU. Everybody has a story that they want to tell. Everybody has a story that they probably should be telling, of overcoming, of triumph, of working hard, of sacrifice, right? And so we heard the daring story, and I don't necessarily usually like sharing my story, but I do want to tell you the story of the significant change that I had between when I started coming. I started coming here in 2010. That's when we spiked up to 33,000 the first time. And back in those days, I was just kind of a nonconformist. I'm from Ogden, didn't want to go to Weber, didn't want to go to the U, didn't want to go to BYU. Here's UVU, this exciting school. I want to get out of the house, so went to UVU, right? But the thing is, I was kind of a loser, frankly, my freshman year. And I don't mean to self-deprecate or anything, but it really was, I wasn't involved in anything, had zero passion for anything, didn't know what I wanted to do with life, had zero motivation, really. I just went to school. And that's really all that I did was go to school, which, I mean, was good because my GPA was definitely higher back in those days. But really, there was not much going on in my life. Then I served, as Kameron said, I went to North Carolina with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for 2 years. That significantly changed my life. Really gave me a lot of motivation and passion. I come home, get involved a lot academically, was doing even better in my courses, but I still hadn't really been involved, right? I just was nervous to make that step, but I felt really impressed to move forward with some things. I applied for some things. I ended up getting them. This is going into the summer after my sophomore year, so I'm a rising junior, right? So the first thing is that summer of 2014, I went out to D.C. just on a whim, and I was an intern for Congressman Rob Bishop. He's from the 1st District of Utah, represents northern and eastern Utah. It changed my life. Talk about engaged learning. I learned more about U.S. politics and government in 4 months than I had in the first 2 years of school, right? Certainly encouraged internships. And then I also had applied prior to that summer for a few different things. Over the summer I got into those. So I'd applied, if you see Tyler over here is wearing that same polo. So I applied to be a Wolverine ambassador and for the Center for the Advancement of Leadership, got accepted. I had that moment where I raised my vision. I wanted to be more of a leader, tried, got in somehow. And as well, I also started getting more involved in the Institute, was on the council there. I know this takes more of a religious overtone, but for me it was significant because it was a leadership role, right? I'd never been in a leadership role before. And then over the course of my junior year, I was doing those things, and then I also got involved in a lot of professional things in the pre-law club. I went with my friend Matt, who was actually my roommate out in D.C., with the pre-law club and represented UVU at a law conference in Arizona. We went to schools at New Mexico, Arizona, Arizona State, UNLV, over the course of several days, getting to network with lawyers and being able to represent UVU pre-law club. And then, again, I felt the call to do more, so I signed up for a study abroad program to Spain that summer. Wanted to go to Spain. My last name's Gonzalez. Don't speak Spanish, by the way, sorry. Working on it. And so I went to Spain, grew a beard, became really handsome, and became a world-class flamenco dancer. No, that wasn't me, but we did go to a show. That's more like it, the confused look, you know, anyway. But that's me in Spain. Went there over the summer, had a blast. And then prior to going there, though, and this was kind of the kicker, it seems to happen every spring where I have that raise your vision moment. You know, I applied for the study abroad, but I also started talking to some people in student government about getting involved. Heard about the Chief Justice role, which has to do with helping students become more politically engaged, right? More politically aware, civically engaged. Got involved with that, had some great mentors and people who kind of stepped in and believed in me on that. Some of them are here today. Thanks, Phil. And so I got involved in student government. Again, I wasn't in student leadership in high school or anything. Remember, I was just kind of that loser that came out of high school just wanting to go to college. Anyway, and then for me, what was kind of the crowning element, and this all happened kind of at the same time, I was impressed to sign up for this internship. It's called the Presidential Internship here on campus. I knew one of the vice presidents, Cameron Martin, and so I interviewed with him and with a couple other vice presidents, just hoping to get a spot with the vice president, right? But then I get a call from the chief of staff for President Holland. He said, we want to bring you in as President Holland's intern, which for me was shocking because I was like, wow, I really am good at lying, right, on my resume. But that really has been a wonderful opportunity to work with a man who has another wonderful story, right? So a great mentor. And so that's my UVU story. There really is a lot more to it as well. A lot of key mentors, a lot of different moments where, like I said, raise a vision, gotta act, go with it. But I wanted to set this as an example to you for your UVU story. And I just want to take a moment here on this slide. This is one slide. I could probably make 4 or 5 of these. And this is just specific for UVU. Other campuses have similar things. So these are different ways that you can get involved in developing student leadership, right? And so take a good look at that. We have up here student government. We have things like the UV Mentor Program and the SLAM Conference. Again, a wonderful job with that, guys. We have courses available. We have the Center for the Advancement of Leadership, which is now a #2 program within their peer institutions. We have internships. We have ambassadorships. We have programs. We reach out to communities. We're an inclusive institution, and I think it's a good parallel to our lives, right? We have women in leadership, women's success, Latino business, Latino initiative, Native American, Pacific Islander, international. We have opportunities for people to take kind of these fun opportunities like the International Outbound Program and American Marketing. But then we also have our serious, kind of more serious academic programs where you can get involved in leadership as an honor student or in an international honor society or a fraternity or do undergraduate research, become a leader in your field one day, right? So I hope that everyone here takes a good look at this. I know a lot of people here are from high school or are freshmen or sophomores here at UVU. But it doesn't matter if you're a senior in high school or a senior at UVU, you can get involved in these. And you can become a leader in that area as you get involved. And so, talking about this final point. So now we've talked about the vision. We've talked about moving forward, negotiating your course through the obstacles. We've talked about developing yourself here as a student leader. Now let's talk about you going forward, right? From the campus to the big stage. I think an important principle to remember is that student leadership on the university campus leads to global leadership on the world campus. So there's our shout out to BYU, the world is our campus, right? Thank you for the one laugh. Anyway, but I think that definitely, even though they have that slogan trademarked, I think it's definitely applicable to all of us. Just because we're leaders here on campus doesn't necessarily mean we will be leaders in the future, but it doesn't mean we can't be, right? Student leadership for sure can lead us to global leadership, right? And so let's talk about different coils in your springs, right? The more that you put in, the tighter it gets, and the more springy your springboard can get, right? So what are some things that you can do? And this is what I hope that you can get out of this, especially moving forward. What can I do as a student now to build it so that I can springboard into my future and become that civic, national, global leader, right? So first, network. Actually, I'm going to clarify everything. There's so many things that we could put into the slide for the sake of time and for the sake of you not wanting to kill me for going on too long. That's fine. There's just one quote. Socrates gave long speeches. Socrates was also poisoned by his friends. So that's why we keep it to 30 minutes here. But anyway, so networking, huge. I wish that I had understood this through the first 3.5 years of my college career. I'm at the 3.5 year mark, by the way. So I didn't really understand this until now, but just the power of building a network and connecting with people. Sometimes we shouldn't build a network. We need to build connections, right? Real relationships. It's ultimately the people who we surround ourselves with that are going to make us great, right? We can't do it on our own. We have to seek mentors. And as we seek mentors, we've got to ask them questions. It's one thing to know people, but it's another thing to pick their brain and to appreciate the contributions that they have given, right? And then share with them your ideas. Share your ideas with your peers. Maybe other people have similar ideas. It's your ideas that are going to set you apart as leaders than other people. Your resume can show how many certificates and how many different things you've done, right? But it's your ideas that are really going to set you apart. And so share those. The second point is work hard, right? And I love this quote. It's used in a different context in the book, but I think in principle it still applies. The rich don't work for money. Robert Kiyosaki. wonderful investment manager. Wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a lesson that he learned at a young age from a great mentor in his life. The rich don't work for money. They work for work. They work to accomplish. They work to do good in the world. They work because they know that there's not other people who are going to step up and work for them, right? Well, within context, right? Obviously, we need to learn to delegate. We're not here to do it all ourselves. But working hard, huge principle moving forward. And then going back to that clip, see yourself as more than just a dog, right? Never dog on yourself. Anytime you hear that now, I hope that you think of this. You know, there's certain ways that we can evaluate ourselves, sure, but evaluate yourself against yourself. Am I better today than I was yesterday? How can I be better tomorrow than I was today than I was yesterday, right? But don't deprecate. Don't beat yourself up. That's not going to help. There's plenty of pressures in society that will try and penetrate you and try and hit you to make you feel weak, to make you feel insecure. It happens. We all have those moments. But let's get up off the dirt. Let's believe in ourselves. Let's reach out to people who we know will believe in us and believe in them, and we can work together, right? So those are just 3 of the coils in your spring that I hope that you go away with today, knowing for sure that you can apply, right? And so just this is my final slide. I put my contact information down here. I'll kind of move over here so that everyone can see it. If you have any questions, I'd love to field them. If you want to know about those authors who wrote books on vision, we can talk about that. If you want to get into any of these organizations here, I know a number of people in each of these, or at least know people who will know people. And so if you want to get involved in these different areas, I can, contact me, send me a text, send me an email, call me, whatever it is that you want to do. And that way I can get you hooked up with whatever resources that you need. I'm here to help you. And so, but again, let's just think about those things. So number 1, raise your vision. Number 2, negotiate your course. Number 3, develop your student leadership story, your UVU story. And number 4, springboard your future. And I, without getting too much into my missionary days and promising blessings, but I do want to promise you here that as you do those things, that you will see results in your life. And as you stay results-oriented, you'll be able to accomplish more, right? That without the vision, you'll be wandering. Without the negotiation, without the ability to adapt and make adjustments and move forward with faith regardless of whether or not you know what the next step is, you won't be able to springboard into your future in the way that you do. Network, work hard, don't dog on yourself. And as you do these things, you will be the leaders of the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Cameron. You can see why we brought him up as a keynote speaker. He's a powerful speaker. So, awesome. One more power clap for Cameron. I should have counted the 3 hands. I suck. Taylor, can you do it?
Power clap up! 3, 1, 2, 3!
Wow, see, we need more like her. Can we get 10? Cool. Cameron, I don't know if have all the ladies written down Cameron's number here. Can we shut this off or? All right. Or guys, I guess. Is that what you said? Okay. We're gonna throw this table over here. Did you read the rules? I'm just kidding. Okay. You can just do it here. So. First of all, I want to once again thank our sponsors. I'm going to pull out my list because there's so many of them. There's so many people who have helped us out. So the SLSS department, University College, UUSA, Latino Business Initiative Council, Woodbury School of Business, UV Mentor Program, Target, EMC, and the Career Development Center. They've all done so much for us. So.
All right, can we get Kameron Gonzalez back up here, as well as all of the breakout session presenters? We have a gift for you. Let's get a round of applause for all the breakout sessions. All right, thank you so much.
So, I guess we're going to do prizes now. So, but I want to do like this quick activity because I'm pretty pumped about this. So, stand up if you have one ticket in one of these bags. Everybody stand up if you have at least one ticket. At least one ticket.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Because I just want to see like who has the most tickets, and then we'll see who actually wins. Because I think it's interesting. So, all right, sit down if you have 3 or more tickets, or stay standing if you have 3 or more tickets. In one, not in one bag, in the bags in general. All right, 5 or more. All right. All right, 7 or more. We got shoe bringers. These are our shoe bringers. Cool. All right, we're gonna keep. Okay. Let's go 10 or more. Oh, we got like 3 still standing up here. Are you guys? No. Okay. So we got 3. Okay, 15 or more. No way. Okay, how many do you guys have?
I have 24.
24 tickets in the game. 27. 15. All right, good job, guys. Thanks for bringing shoes to everybody's time. Really quickly, I also wanted to make a note about our theme this year, which was Every Voice Matters. Similar to what Kameron Gonzalez spoke about, we believe that all of you have the potential and you also have a voice, and that everybody can be involved in their respective campuses and make a difference. And we believe that the SLAM conference is an opportunity for us to learn from other students on what they've done to have a more engaged learning experience. And so hopefully you took something from the SLAM conference and are motivated to then apply it in the service of others at your respective universities or here at UVU. So now we'll go to prizes. Sorry.
All right, let's get a poll. Where should I start? Should I start over here? Okay. On the drone? Okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to read off a ticket, and then Brennan or Sean is going to verify that you still have that ticket and that the numbers match. And then basically you just stand by your prize. So don't go off yet. Stand by your prize, and then wait till all of the prizes have been drawn for. Okay?
One more, sorry. Before you draw it. So I wanted to announce our winner of the Fitbit. We did a social media activity where you could post something on social media. And so our winner was Tanner Paskett. Is he here? Yeah. So come on up, Tanner.
Okay, we want to keep this as non-biased as possible. Can we get...
Tanner to do it.
Okay, Tanner's going to draw our tickets. Okay, this one's for the drone. So I'm going to shake it up a little bit.
That's like shake it around. Shake. Yeah. Shake it like a pole.
Okay, we got... Should I just read off the name?
Oh no, numbers are more intense.
Okay, numbers. 823-8965. 823-8965. Come on down.
Cool, we got the next one, so we'll draw the Chromebook next, I guess. Who has one in on the Chromebook? Raise your hands. Alright, let's get like 10 of you, so hopefully one of you 10 win it. Okay, we'll shake her up. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go 7, 4, 3. It's blue. 1, 5, 8. You got it? All right, come on up.
Okay, I think I'm gonna choose the sound bar. All right, Tanner, are you ready? Let's hide the color this time. Hide the color of the ticket, make it more suspenseful. Tanner's got it. Thank you. Okay, we have a ticket number of 823-8891.
And it's red.
823-8891. Oh, there we go. All right. So just verify.
All right. So now, what do you guys want to hear next? Are we doing GoPro? GoPro. I know there's a few people who are pretty excited about the GoPro. So go ahead and draw it, Tanner. A lot of chit chat about this one, I see. It's a hot topic. Okay. All right. Well, it's not blue, so just kidding, it is. Okay. 7, 4, 2, 9. I've always wanted to do this. Okay. 8. Oh, 4.
Thank you guys, that is that table. We got a gauge, Amazon Echo. Every voice matters, even this one. This one is good. Okay. You ready? Okay. Ooh, I can feel suspenseful in here. All right, we got a number of 823-9139. 823-9139. We got them. All right.
Hold on, don't give it to that's his brother. Give it to him over here. You don't want any cheating going on.
No.
All right, so next we'll do, are we hitting up the TV or the Xbox? Xbox, it sounds like. TV, Xbox last? All right, we're going to do TV despite popular. Okay, cool. Ooh, there's like 20 tickets in here. It says 5% chance of winning, whoever has a ticket in here, basically. All right, we got 7, 4, 3. Doesn't everybody have 7, 4, 3? No? Oh, okay. 0, 8, 2.
It's me.
Who? Oh wait, not there? All right. That was the TV.
Okay, we got 2 left, people. 2 left. There is hope. There is hope for you all. All right. Okay. Oh, there's a number on this. I'm going to read it. The number is 742998. That was for the iPad mini. So, come to Brennan over here. He's the master. Hey.
All right. Who still has a ticket in the game? Cam go here. That's so neat. That's okay. That makes it that much better. All right, here we go, Tanner. So this is for the Xbox. This is the last prize. So, got a good one, Tanner? All right.
It's a red one.
So, okay, I'm gonna make it super slow because I love the anticipation so much. Okay, so 8, 2, 3, 8, 8, 7, 2. All right, cool. Thanks so much again for coming, guys. We'll have you guys stay after and fill something out. But everybody's welcome to go. Taylor, do you want to end us with the power clap?
Power clap, clap, 3, 1, 2, 3!
Thanks again, guys. Have a safe afternoon.